Mr. Vice President, the Honorable Speaker of the Interim House of Representatives, members of government, county and local government executives, civil society leaders, supporters and sympathizers at home and abroad, and all those who have been assigned to monitor our activities, fellow Ambazonians, you are welcome. Let us observe a moment of silence for all innocent civilians killed by French Cameroon since the beginning of this conflict in 2017, from the Gabu massacre to the CDC Mondoni massacre, and those who are being massacred by lone wolves, so-called La République du Cameroon Special Forces, and their despicable proxies, passing for vigilantes, with the hope that they succeed to tag the Ambazonian struggle as organized terrorism. Let's not forget our valiant ARFs who are doing a phenomenal job to defend our people facing annihilation. A moment of silence, please. May their souls rest in power. My people, I love the Savannah Zonal Command made up of Goketunjia Bui, Boyo, Menchum, and Dogamanto. Fellow Ambazonians, we are hosted today by the people and warriors of these five great counties in recognition of their place in this struggle. The first in any order is a reference and a standard for others. That's why it is not easy to be in the first position. I commend all our dynamic county chairs and LGA executives and patriots here present for their exemplary mobilization and hospitality. Thank you all for your kind words of welcome. I want to salute our genuine brave ARFs, the community gatekeepers of the Savannah Zone, especially our FM, Major Generals and Generals for their leadership, loyalty, and dedication to defend Ambazonia. We stand together blood by blood till freedom comes. Let me answer some questions about the creation of these zones and make some things clearer. The zones were demarcated by a presidential decision in 2020, not as administrative units. These are defense provinces demarcated for the sole purpose of coordination, integration, and ultimate transition of our self-defense forces into a true national army. The commander-in-chief has the power to create command infrastructure. However, for these zones to become administrative units in future, it would be by an act of the interim House of Representatives. Each zonal command is headed by a zonal commander appointed and vetted by the IHR. Our county authorities are still the highest administrative authorities in their counties. We are here again gathered by our faith in the Ambazonian spirit. As a people fighting an existential war, our lives are a nightmare. But such are the pains of a heroic mother at delivery. There is nothing more precious than the promise of baby Ambazonia. Even the blood of those who are being massacred daily in Ambazonia may only water the fields of our freedom, but will never stop us from fighting. La République du Cameroon taught their old Maquisard strategy of calling us names, manipulating some of the people against their true liberators, misrepresenting our struggle as begging for our own share of their national cake will work this time. They want the world to believe that our struggle is a loud agitation for administrative handouts from their slaughter slabs in Etude. Unfortunately, Some otherwise enlightened ones amongst us agree with them and are helping them to stop us or try to. I have bad news for all of them. Ambazonia is a spirit that cannot die. It haunts its killers, dishonors its mockers, disgraces betrayers, and outlives its naysayers. Only those who have understood this reality shall thrive till Boya. Those who do not understand it shall perish with the wind, but Ambazonia shall triumph. Fellow warriors, we have drafted for 3 years, prosecuted the APP strategy for the 3 years on all 3 tiers. We now have a balance sheet before us. We have seen the flaws in our funding and fighting strategies as the war progresses. Many things have changed, including on our side as well as on the enemy side. The fight we fought in 2017 is not the fight we are fighting today. The configuration of the war on the ground is changing daily. In martial arts, we observe that if you continue to do the same thing while your enemy is changing stance and positions and is constantly moving, you will most certainly lose that fight. What we want to do this year as the central government is to move in and fix whatever is not working or working well according to our strategy, so we can improve on our execution generally. We want to improve on the net amount of money going into the struggle, effectively manage our scarce resources, avoid the hoarding of our critical resources, improve on the redemption rate at the county and local government and federal levels, and strategically assist in planning our national response plan through our central command from the central budget. We want to foster intra-zonal coordination of our defense projects from our central command with a focus on all 3 command zones. Let me thank the Savannah zone for hosting the federal government grand opening of the 2023 federal draft. Our golden rule at the central government for this year's draft is, if you welcome me with chicken, I will welcome you with a goat when you visit me. So, county chairs, do to the federal draft what you will want the federal draft to do in your zone. My proud comrades from the Savannah zone, your participation is being recorded this day. Show us that you support the federal government to play a more significant role in the organization and management of our liberation efforts, so that those who escape the sword of the local government area shall fall by the sword of the county, and those who escape the sword of the county shall surely die by the sword of the central command. It is only logical that he who stands to be blamed every time we fail should at least play a more pivotal role in the organization and decisions that move our struggle. And that person is the central government. Something is wrong if we raise all the money for others to manage projects, but when things fail, when those projects fail in their hands, we are blamed, not them. It is better we do the fixes now, make necessary corrections and adjustments, and adjust our operations than for the central government to continue watching from a distance and take all the blame for something that is not really working as we desired. The configuration of our funding strategy going forward is the result of many fixes we hope to implement for the good of our revolution. We will now draft all around the year. We will draft federal and county, and the federal government is going to be empowered to be more present in the home front and provide leadership and guidance to our self-defense forces zone by zone and nationally. We shall fulfill better the original plan of empowering the three pillars of our self-defense apparatus, being the local government areas, counties, and the central government. Today is the launching of the 2023 draft for the federal government. The new and enlarged Coalition for Surrender are busy stealing actions they know nothing about in the home front, just to get some relevance. Their game will soon land them into big trouble. But like vultures, they are watching us eagerly tonight to see when we take our last breath in this struggle. They salivate every time we gasp for oxygen, predicting our end at every turn of events. They congregate in execution chambers, hoping to announce our final. Many times they have public our funeral and built our graves, hoping we truly die. They have reached the size of their own struggle to a prayer for our doomsday to come quickly. They have said to themselves, the reason why they are failing is because the IG is still in the fight to free Ambazonia. Meaning the IG are not the La République du Cameroon. In their corrupt mind is the enemy. But the spirit of Ambazonia is undying. It is stubborn. It is wiser than their machinations. It is sharper than their deal makers in prison or CDC. It is eternal and indestructible. That's why we continue to survive. We want to tell these people who are probably hired to destroy the IG, these converts of the Esingan cult, contractors of La République CPDM killer regime, that the solution may come through a genuine mediated settlement, not some backdoor deals. We should know that these spoilers are probably watching us tonight just to see if their prayers to the devil have been answered or not. So let us answer them in the best way we can by drafting our best to the federal government for acceleration. Dear financial warriors, La République and their agents in the diaspora are trying to play mind games. They are using the boogeyman strategy so you don't contribute to the struggle for fear of being branded terrorists. Don't mind them. The US is not a banana republic. Just imagine if Dr. Foncha, Augustine Joa, Mulanjo Letumbe, Dr. EML Edeli were alive today. What about Barrister Ben Muna of blessed memory, who encouraged Ambazonians to fight? Do you think the spirits of these men will be on my side or on the side of the one Cameroon corrupt machine? They will surely be standing by us squarely. And can you imagine if Ahijo or Bia would have had the guts to call Foncha or Joa a terrorist or secessionist? Who is terrorizing who and who is seceding from what? What a bully our equal has become. When the Southern Cameroon's government delegation went to Fumban, we were not terrorists. We were equals with La République. When La République du Cameroon forcefully dissolved our institutions effectively in 1966, we were not terrorists because we did not fight back. When La République du Cameroon subjected us to 60 years of Calais, we were not terrorists because we did not fight back. When La République du Cameroon cracked down on our FCNC's capo and scam militants, we were not terrorists because we did not fight back. When they used helicopter gunships to kill innocent Southern Cameroons and Ambazonian protesters in September 2017, we were not terrorists because we did not fight back. But when Biya declared war on us on September 30th, 2017, and proceeded to burn down our villages and murder our people in droves, arrested and abducted our people, and we decided to resist them, La République du Cameroon started calling us terrorists because in their sick logic, self-defense is terrorism. So we, the victims, should surrender and get killed if we don't want to be called terrorists. Please don't be bullied to withhold your contribution to help defend our victims of genocide. Money itself is not a legacy. It is what you do with it that becomes a legacy. The greatest legacy is a living legacy, which is what you do with for others in need. 8 million people are in need of freedom and survival from genocide. Let's make them our living legacy. After we are gone, generations of Ambazonia shall remember us not by how much we have in the bank for our children, but by how much we did for others to better their lives. The greatest souls on earth are selfless souls. Fellow Ambazonians, let no one deceive you. We are the Ukraine in Africa. The whole world is drafting for Ukraine. Many of us are even donating to free Ukraine. Earlier today, I donated $50 to the Ukrainians to help the people of Ukraine defend themselves against annexation. Governments around the world, led by the United States, are donating billions of dollars to help Ukraine defend themselves. This is a constitutionally protected activity in the United States of America. My neighbor, an ex-military man in the US Army, recently traveled to Ukraine to join the Ukrainian People's Army to fight and liberate their land from annexation. Can you call him a terrorist? No. According to US law, my donation to Ukraine this morning or to Ambazonia today is not funding terrorism. It is, if anything, a heroic humanitarian effort to save the oppressed and defend fundamental freedoms. Those of you who think Ambazonia or what Ambazonia is doing the wrong thing by funding their own resistance, can you please tell me the difference between what we are doing for Ukraine and what Ambazonians are doing for Ambazonia? Apart the fact that Ambazonians are blacks and Ukrainians are white. There is no iota of a difference. Here are some glaring similarities between Ukraine and Ambazonia. Number one, Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia was a sovereign people colonized by the Germans, then administered by Britain as a UN trust territory. Ambazonia entered into a failed union with La République du Cameroon. Ukraine, on the other hand, was a sovereign nation. In fact, one of the founders of the United Nations in 1945. Ukraine was entered a failed union with Russia, a union that failed, the so-called Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Number two, Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia gained her independence in October 1st, 1961 as an independent nation. Ukraine gained her independence in August 24th, 1991 as an independent nation. Number three, La République du Cameroon annexed Ambazonia in 1961. Russia annexed Ukraine in 2014, Crimea. Number four, La République du Cameroon declared a full-scale war against Ambazonia in November 30th, 2017. Russia declared a full-scale war on Ukraine on February 20th, 2022. Number five, Ambazonians have mobilized their people at home and in the diaspora to help us resist the occupation and free Ambazonia from La République's annexation. On the other hand, Ukrainians have mobilized their people at home and in the diaspora to help resist the occupation and free Ukraine from Russian annexation. Number six, Ambazonian genuine ARFs and supporters are not terrorists. So Ukrainian soldiers and genuine fighters are not also terrorists. There is genocide in Ambazonia and there is genocide in Ukraine. Ambazonia is defending herself with the support of its diaspora. Ukraine is defending herself with the support of the Western world. La République du Cameroon is trying to break Ambazonia into factions and groups to recolonize us. Russia is trying to break Ukraine into pieces to recolonize them. The day the Congress of the United States will classify support for our Ambazonia's legitimate liberation effort as terrorism is the day America will agree to classify support for Ukraine or Israel as terrorism. Like Ambazonia, these are countries that are defending themselves from enemies that undermine their statehood and have sworn to annihilate them. La République du Cameroon, by refusing to dialogue with the southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, preferring the military option to address our political demands, has made up their mind to annihilate Ambazonia. We must fight till the last man standing. It is a human right. But Ambazonia has risen to fall no more. La République du Cameroon tried bribing our stakeholders. It failed. They tried incarcerating our innocent people and leaders. It failed. They tried a grand national monologue to impose their will on Ambazonia. It failed. They tried to divide, despise, and bypass the IG. It failed. They have disappeared and killed more than 50,000 of our people. That too has not stopped us. They tried their famous divide and rule wizardry. It failed. They tried painting Ambazonians as terrorists by organizing massacres they can blame on Ambazonia Restoration Forces. It failed. They truncated our history, miseducated our people, and fed us with lies for 60 years. It failed. I have bad news for La République and the house of slaves supporting their annexation of our beloved country. It is right there staring at us on our national flag. It looks like Noah's dove. Once it came out of that ark, it kept on flying, food or no food, on land or on water, but it never went back, despite the chaos and desolation. It never went back into the ark. Ambazonia is truly free. ARFs of the Savannah Command, this is your draft. Every dime we draft here today shall be put at your disposal for major strategic projects. If you are not fighting for an individual, then you are fighting for Ambazonia. This is your draft this year. If you are not killing your fellow ARFs, but you are fighting La République du Cameroon, then this is your draft here. If your struggle is to go to Buea, not to Yaoundé, through some backdoor talks, then 2023 is your draft. If you stand for the equal status and not the special status, then this is your draft. Reach out to us through your county defense officers and your county executives, and we will respond to you as a government. Those who want to fight as individual private militias, paying allegiance to some obscure groups, should know that the umbrella that gives us the legitimacy internationally is the interim government. You cannot say you reject La République du Cameroon government and not be under any government. That will mean you are not an Ambazonian soldier. You are an unidentified man with a gun or militia. Soldiers belong to the state and are therefore under the authority of the government. The title gunman or militia has a criminal undertone. Our struggle is legitimate. The legitimacy of our Ambazonian struggle is captured in 4 sentences. Number 1, Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia was a nation granted independence in 1961 by the United Nations in a manner that led La République to annex us instead. Number two, our southern Cameroon's Ambazonia government and institutions were dissolved by the annexationist La République du Cameroon. Fact number three, we restored our independence and our government that was dissolved by the annexationists. And number four, southern Cameroon's Ambazonia, our restoration forces are now defending our right to exist as a people by resisting the occupier. So as ARFs, you are involved in a legitimate liberation endeavor that cannot be criminalized by the sane international political system. Following this logic, you are all covered under international law. But when you are not under a government and you are not under any verifiable authority, or you are committing crimes, the world fears those who carry guns yet are not under constituted authority. The world will not gravitate towards a people in the hands of unidentified gunmen. They will recognize a nation in the hands of a strong constituted authority. Those who don't want to recognize this elementary fact in liberation are wasting our time in this struggle. The interim government is here to make a peaceful resolution of this conflict or our recognition a true possibility. My dear ARFs, we are so proud of you. Please help us shorten our journey by dealing wisely with the crazy talkers in the diaspora and the $100 callers or video makers deceiving some of you trying to buy your loyalties. 1 year after they said they have rescued the revolution, ask them to show you their achievement, apart from singing Sako, Sako, eh. They thought Ambazonians are fools. Dear Ambazonians, let this draft bring us together and let us forget our little differences and stop fighting each other to the detriment of Ambazonia, because the bullets and armor cars in Bamali, Zekwa, or Ndop make no difference. Let us help our forces, because we have no better way to stop the killers of our children and kindreds. Let us unite forces, because if the IG fails, we all fail. If the IG succeeds, we all succeed. Don't give away what you have for what you only see on television. The IG is the key player in the Ambazonian struggle, whether you like the IG or not. If the IG is not here today, the field will be occupied by talkers and takers. That will be the end of organized leadership and resistance as we know it. The Yaoundé process will be the only option left, and that is what spoilers are aiming at. If you know another viable player doing more than the IG in the Ambazonian struggle today, tell us. Otherwise, you are limiting our strength by withholding your contribution. The federal government needs your full draft today, to fund our national strategic plan in the 3 zonal commands. I will personally supervise the execution of this NSP. We will not store your money when we will not store your money we shall put the money in the hands of our trusted generals. It is better for our generals to eat the money and die than for us to keep the money and they get killed for lack of materials. Our soldiers should not go hungry when there is money in the bank. Our wounded volunteers should not be unattended when there is money in the bank. Our soldiers should only lack critical resources if there is absolutely no money in the account. God forbid that a loyal soldier is killed in battle for lack of material resources because we are holding money that was raised to fund them. There should be no sleeper cells again in the revolution. no counties, no genuine Ambazonia restoration forces that will be not inactive. Listen, it will not happen if you give us the money as the federal government and also give to your counties and local government later this year. Give us what it will take to push the La République du Cameroon out of our territory and make La République du Cameroon the first nation to recognize Ambazonia by leaving our territory. This is why the federal government is coming to the fight full time this year. We shall be drafting monthly till December 2023. Fight without ceasing should mean draft without ceasing. Viva our Ambazonia Restoration Forces. Viva the free people of Ambazonia. And God bless the Federal Republic of Ambazonia.
Wow.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President, our general overseer.
Always motivating.
Thank you, Joshua.
You never disappoint.
Our Joshua.
Thank you. Thank you. Amen.